and a very good afternoon everyone from Crossness. Quiet in the bird world, but I always find something to do, a little bit of practice. Today we have 6 little egret at the outflow. The outfall, everybody calls it something different. I know I do every time I come here. But it's good for scuffles. The little egrets are very territorial, one gets too close to the other. A little bit of a tussle in the air makes for good photography. I tried to get it in slow-mo, but you have to keep filming and filming and filming, waiting for them to do it. And it only lasts 1 second or 2 seconds. So I just thought, no, let's just get some photographs. Now, what's going on? At the moment, we've got, well, we did have a couple over there. I think most of them have moved on. But anyway, I can overlay the footage and show you. There were 2 on that side. And it's just been interesting observing behavior. When it's quiet, it's nice to come here. This is my go-to because there's lots of birds and there are lots of birds, and the interactions, learning bird behavior. I haven't been out much over the last few days. So you want to see some behavior because it translates to other times when you're going to see something more interesting and you want your reflexes to be quick, your muscle memory to be quick. So it's good to practice on these guys. So first things first, what I did is I got my dot sight's practically going to live on my camera from now on, because I just want to catch birds in flight. No more birds sitting still from now on. It's got to be birds constantly flying. That's my new thing. Nobody's interested in birds on perches anymore. We've got to have flight shots. Not many birds flying. So we got to the outfall and there were birds. And I thought, okay, let's get some sandpipers or redshank going left and right. None. Okay, what's next? The cormorants, which are over there, are pretty much finished feeding. Maybe the water's just got too low for them. There were a couple, and I did get one instance of, I think it's not a flatfish, oh my gosh, I forgot. It is a sort of flatfish, and it came up and it was fighting with this fish for maybe 30 seconds, which meant it translated to really good slow-mo, 4 seconds for every second footage. Now I filmed that, overlay that, I'll show you that. And I don't know why it took so long. Maybe it just, the barbs on it, I don't know. But thankfully, I wasn't set to capture it, so I was fumbling with my settings. My stabilizer wasn't on because I remember I made a video about when to turn off your image stabilizer. So because I'd been taking photos, it was off. So luckily, my muscle memory for my reflexes, because I was in photography mode, so I had to flick to slow-mo, know it was customs function 2, turn off image stabilizer, and I was underexposed because of the little egrets I was photographing, so I had to bring it up to match the darker cormorant. But luckily it took so long to deal with this flatfish that I managed to get loads of footage. And then as that kind of, I waited, I thought I'll get some more of that, but that was it. They were all done. And like I said, I was trying to photograph these little egrets. And the good thing about the little egrets, because they're so white, it means I can underexpose, which means I can use lower ISO, so better quality. The problem there lies is when something darker, like I remember a common sandpiper flew across. It was so dark, the photos weren't worth keeping. That's the problem with white birds. You don't often photograph white birds, but like I said, the benefit is you get that low ISO. So it was just predicting, there's a common sandpiper there. It's now flown in on this side because there were 2 over there. I'll show you that. There's at least 6 here, maybe even 8. 2 of them, at least 2 or 3 going around on this side. Now that all the little egrets have moved over there, maybe they get a bit of trouble from the little egrets, so he's flown over this side. So what I just waited for were these little egrets having a scuffle. So some of them must be more senior than the other ones, because there were ones that were very specifically the daddies, the big daddies, fighting off anybody that came to their little hunting spot. And there were times when I had 3 fighting. Now the only problem here is because I'm so high, the background's quite noisy. My camera handled the focus quite well, got it. The birds are sharp, but there are waves, rocks, other birds in the background. Doesn't make for great standout photos. The best ones I got were on the left side, where there was the water behind them, there was a bit more of a distance between the birds and what was going on behind them. Whereas down here, yeah, it's not, I mean, I show you everything I got, but you can see the problems what I'm dealing with. This is when sort of 500mm f4 would be brilliant. I sing the praises of this f9 and the 800mm. Very, very occasionally, I'd love an f4, but one day I'm gonna carry all that. And it's interesting to watch the behavior. Like I said, there's a herring gull down there at the moment feeding, and they don't bother with each other. But I noticed when crows showed up, the little egrets would chase off the crows. Little scuffle there between the little egrets. So you see who are the daddies. A grey heron did fly in, and none of the little egrets budged. So again, this is good because I mean, a couple of birders showed up and then they left. They, you know, nothing interesting, they go. But I think this is very important because this translates to your brain learning behaviours. You're looking for little, when the sort of little egrets hunch down, you know they're going to go for the other bird. You got to learn that so that your reflexes are ready. So when something more important and you see a rarer bird, that you're like, I've seen this before, because all the birds follow similar behavioural patterns. But they're coming up with little shrimpy things, not quite well enough to film. I've got a few photos of them in the past, but I'm sticking with photos for the moment. Like yeah, the dot sight is staying on there, but nothing. It's very grey, but I'm enjoying this. I'm just watching the behaviour. Another cormorant flying in. Nothing much has happened. There are grey wagtails shooting about here. Lots of black-headed gulls. There's nothing on the reserve. I'm hoping for the kestrel, because what I want is using my 3-way gear tripod head to capture the kestrel doing that hovering thing, but I want a close-up of the head. That is going to be my day, but it's too windy for that sort of thing today. There are lots of redshank and lapwing going around, but yeah, too distant. I'm just concentrating on what looks good here, what I can photograph and film here. I just wanted to do a little vlog. I don't like to waste the time. I like to give you something to watch. I like to produce content. And anything else happens, I'll fill you in. But yeah, just a little one for today, and I hope you've enjoyed all the little bits of footage and photos. See you next time. Oh, this is pretty awesome. One of the peregrines is back on the building it grew up on. I'm assuming it's the juvenile. It's got a slight hint of orange or beige on its chest, female. And the female, I believe, has got the streaked chest. And just by the size of it, even though there's nothing to compare it to size-wise, it just looks like a beefier bird. But it's definitely the female. I'm sure the parents have gone off somewhere. I don't think I'm giving anything away. We all know where it is now. Everybody in the borough knows where it is. I'm just filming at the top of the building. I won't point at the building. But obviously, yeah, I mean, you'll see in the footage I'm overlaying. So I'm back. It's just, I finished off at Crossness and I just thought I'll go to the gas cage where I've seen them recently and see if they're there. And as I crossed the road, the roundabout, I looked about on the top of the building where I've seen them when I've gone to work before, and it was there. It stands out a mile. So it's good to see them. Awesome. So yeah, just a little bit of footage as an update, and I'll keep an eye on them for the next few days to see what happens. I'll be going back and forth along the gas cage and I'll just see how long they stay in the area for. It's really interesting.